Hello, welcome back. How are you doing? Let's wait let's wait couple minutes to let everybody else to join. Okay. Uh, Welcome back to CS 216 object-oriented programming, C++. And today is week 4, actually. This class is for week 4. We already set up all the plans for the week 4. You have the module ready here. Uh, you have to read the chapter 10, which is the string, and then let me download the slides and we can start rolling on. But before that, quick reminder, like, there is a every week there are few assignments, like uh, there is an attendance quiz, which is mandatory. I mean, if you don't set up the attendance quiz, I mean, if you don't submit the attendance quiz, then you are not going to get the credit for attendance for this class. If you look back at the syllabus, for example, uh, here, so if we review the syllabus again, you can see that uh, we have we have I mean, substantial point towards attendance. So just keep submitting the attendance quiz, and that actually require you to attend the class. So that is there. And then uh, on March 1st, there will be a mandatory exclusion roster. So if you did not, if any of you have not submitted any assignment so far, then as per school's policy, we have to exclude that student from the class. So we don't want to do that. So please submit at least one of the assignments that we have discussed during week 1 to week 3. And if you have some issue in doing that, we can have a conversation. So let me know. Okay. So that is there. And what else? Let me review quickly. If you, so, and I mean, the Canvas, how to get oriented with the Canvas. We are already in the first quarter of the course, but still I'm reminding you that we have posted some links about the Canvas orientation. One quick note about the attendance, uh, s- about your submission of the assignments, the labs basically. So make sure you submit the lab in a way that you show the code, you submit the code, and zip file is fine. I mean, individual files are better. Zip file is okay, but then as well as zip file, you should submit some evidence that will show clearly that your code is working. Otherwise, it will be hard for us to know whether you wrote the code, or I mean, just you wrote something but did not test it. That will be my conclusion. So obviously, in that case, I mean, you will miss some points. So we don't want to do that. So just submit your programs as well as your evidence of the result, meaning the screenshot from your VS Code. If by any chance any of you is having issues in using the VS Code, um, just go through the tutorial that I posted in the first module. And actually, in this module, you will see that there is a link, this link, and in that link there is a Visual Studio Code tutorial for the Mac as well. So in case you have some issue with if you have a MacBook and you cannot move forward with the Visual Studio Code and C++, just go through this tutorial that will help you to get it set up on the on Mac as well. It's not just for Windows; it's also for Mac. So that's another thing you need to understand. I mean, for C++, actually, you will see that GCC you have it on Linux, but you can also have some version of compiler called Clang on Clang in the for the Mac actually. So basically, that's how you can move forward with C++ compiling on MacBook. Otherwise, there are more links uh, around the web in order to download GCC on the Mac. So if you have any issue with the Mac, let us know. So I will try to get some help for you. There used to be some interface before the lab, ELAC lab, that you could use for your for your programming, but unfortunately those resources are no longer there. But if you want to use the lab, the physical lab facility at the physical location, ELAC, you are more than welcome to do so. All you have to do is you have to talk to the help desk or IT services just to make sure how you can how you can, the processes around getting access to the lab, getting access to the computer that you want. So that's pretty much it is. And in addition to all of those, the virtual machine is also an option. Like if you install any virtual machine like Windows, let us say, on the top of your operating system, if you have a Mac, then that is also an option. There are online options with programming, but those are a little bit uncertain sometimes. I mean, there is REPL-IT. There are other C++ compilers, but there is no guarantee that they will work as predicted all the times, and it is hard for us to support all possible options. So we need to be focused on Visual Studio Code or Visual Studio, preferably Visual Studio Code, and just our our scope should be within the scope of this particular link. So if you go to the document, you will see how you can possibly use your C++ programming on different flavors of the operating systems. So any question, if you have any question related to that, feel free to reach out, send me an email. I will be able to forward you to appropriate link. So today actually is a pop quiz day. So let us get ready for the pop quiz. I'm going to post it in a moment, and let's see. There are four questions, and you can, like, 10 minutes time. So let me try to open it up and post it. Just a second. So if I leave the student view, so here, let me do it in a different way. So canvas, let me go to the canvas, and then this is our course. So let me open up the quiz. It's not on the screen. I'm just editing it behind the scene. So here it is. So let me um, do the assignment. So it is due, let us say this is 7:06. So maybe around 7:20, or better 7:20 is good. Take your time. It may not take that longer, but I'm just making sure everybody gets a chance to do it. So from now until, so available for from 7:07 until 7:20. So yeah, it should be published now. Just go ahead and start working on that. So 10 minutes, by 7:20, just submit the quiz. So let me open up a timer on the screen, so that will help you. Don't be overwhelmed with the timer. Okay, so at the end of this timer, feel free to submit your pop quiz.
Excuse me, Professor. May I ask you?
Yeah,
What quiz? Where is it?
it is under your module. Go to the module, um,
Model 3,
module 4.
Model 4, Model 4 quiz.
Yeah, this one. You will see a pop quiz.
Oh, pop quiz. Okay.
Yep, yep. Okay, welcome back. Um, to the question of Harrison, I will take a look. If it is, if the answer is in error, then you will get the point. I'm noting it down, so you will. I will take a look. Don't worry about it. So, just a second. Let me note it down so we don't forget. Okay. Okay. Hope it went well for every one of you. So let's now start our today's lesson. So this is chapter 10, which is the string in C++. Mostly there is not much change between the string in C and C++. But anyways, let's start it over. Let me start the slideshow and we can go from there. Now, when you talk about the string, you know, the the string sorry the string in C++ starts with specification of the character. Now in order to do that, all you have to do is to include a library, include a header file called cc_type. Let me open up the pointer. Yeah, so you have to include this cc_type header file for a C++ string, I mean C++ character. Just wait a second, something is wrong. I had some issue here just with the PowerPoint. Bear with me. Okay, now I think we should be good. Okay, so we are talking about the string in C++, and that starts with the character as we were talking, and we would require a header file called cc_type, and you can do multiple examples around that. For instance, you can start with let's open up our workspace, be a little hands-on. So um, if you come here, so this one, for example, let me try to open up some. Okay, that's good. Okay, that's good. So let's open a file and we can say uh, character C++ char underscore test.cpp. So the first thing first, what you need to do here is first you have to include the regular input output stream, that IO stream, right? And then you need to include cc_type. So this is the new thing that is applicable for the characters. And then of course you should be using namespace std. So you are defining everything under the standard namespace, and then you are creating your main function. There is nothing new here, and you do return 0. Now you start filling out here. Let's say you have some, I mean, you are asking your user to provide some input. So you do character input. So this is, I mean, this character is a special data type in C++. So you it accommodates, it cannot accommodate a full string, full text. If you have a sentence, you cannot accommodate that with a character. A character means a single letter, A, B, C, D, I mean, so on, so on. It's just a single letter. Now, what you can do here, you can ask your user to enter some input. So you can say, enter any character. Okay. So once you do that, then you can just use cin dot get input. So that is actually basically cin is your command line input. So you are getting the character as an input. Then you write, or basically you say that you have entered. Then you can write the input so that you know exactly what you entered. So it is not doing any trick with you, so you know it. Now let's run this one first and see where we can go from there. So we can do G++ and then -O, and then we can say character underscore test dot exe, and then the program's name. So it compiles, and then if you run it and then you enter any character, let's enter A, then you have entered A. So basically you have entered, so it works end to end. Now you can do multiple things with the character. You can say, if let's say nature of the character, you may put some alphanumeric character, you may put anything basically. So let's say you can put an alphabetic character. So you can say is alpha. So it is I mean is alpha, and then you can do input. So is alpha is a function which is internal to this library, CC type library. So when you are using C++ and include this library, is alpha is a function already defined, so you have to use it. So you can say there that cout, you can say you have entered an alphabetic character, and so on. I mean, I'm just writing up something in a hurry. So else you can say, there is no else. I mean, it's if it is not, then it won't write anything. Similarly, you could say like if you can say that if is digit, entered a digit. Now, I mean, one of the good thing of using Visual Studio Code is that you will be able to see some hint, like, I mean, if you start with is, so you can see if ALNUM is alphanumeric. So basically it says that if you have an alphanumeric character, either alphabet or numeric, so this is also validated there, and so on. Actually, you can put multiple other like you can do you may not put any character at all. You can put a space here. So you can say is space, if you have entered a space, just a space. So why you use this in many applications, you are required to validate your user inputs. So these type of functions are good for that. Now, if you just an example, just to demo it, let's try to run some examples. Like if you run this one, I mean, I'm running the code, the binary. So then let us put 1. Then you can say it is a digit as well as it's an alphanumeric character, of course. Now, if you, sorry, I'm not supposed to compile it multiple times. So let's say I'm just doing a space, just hit your space once. So you can see here you have entered a space. So that's pretty much it is. I mean, all the things that we learned here is that you have to include the CC type, and then you can just start coding. And since you are in Visual Studio Code, I mean, it will give you some hint about what exactly is being displayed. So what exactly can be validated. Otherwise, you have to go to the character API in C++. Look up. I mean, there is a website called c++.com. On just go to your book. That is the best source of your knowledge. So just look up the API for character, and you will see a whole I mean, list of the options. Just like, I mean, you can see in the slide itself that we were presenting. So here, so you can see a whole list of things that you could do. So, I mean, is print, for example, it's a printable character, is punct is a punctuation character, and so on. Now, sorry. So next, we will do the case conversion. So I'm not writing a specific code here, but you know, it is you can always prolong your program up to that point. I mean, up to this point, like you can say that uh, I mean, you can convert a character to uppercase or lowercase, things like that. So if you do to upper character 1, then it displays H. So if you have the character 1, and then if you say to lower, then it should display the lowercase h. If you do it to lower, instead of to upper, if you put to lower, then it will display lowercase h. So let us solve another problem here. Uh, let's go and write something up. So let's create another file. Let's say character test2.cpp. So as usual, I mean, we are just including everything as a normal, like this one, this input output stream and CC type. Always remember that you have to include this one. Otherwise, you won't be able to find out any reference to character. So that's mandatory. So what we can do, I mean, we are going to write a program that tests a customer number to determine whether it is in a proper format. Okay. So first of all, so what we are going to do, test a customer number. So whenever someone is a customer in some store, they get a number, right? So sometimes those numbers are alphanumeric in nature. Sometimes they are numeric. Sometimes they are alphabetic. So we are going to test if it is in a proper format. Test a customer number to determine if it is in the right format. Okay. So let's write the prototype of the function, Boolean function. It is test num, and then we can say we can pass an array of character. You know, I mean, your string in C++. I mean, it's an important. Sorry, we have to. It's an important concept that whenever you have a string in C++, that can be envisioned as a array of character. you know. So let's say where we can go from here. So this is our prototype function. Now we can do the, I mean, we can do the main function, int main, and then we can do return 0. Okay, so let's say we have a customer number that has a length 8. So we can say constant integer size equals 8. So we write constant because it's a constant. We are not expecting it to change over the time when the code is being executed. We don't want to change it. It's not a dynamic array. It's an array with a fixed length. So we write character, and then we do customer, and then we can do the size. That is its array size. So that's our I mean, this variable holds a customer number. Okay, so now we can get a customer number. You can say enter customer number in this format. So what we ask them to do, LLL NNN. So here LLL means letters, and NNN means numbers. So that's your customer number. You are asking whoever is using this program to do that. So then, of course, the next step should be, you can put a colon sign here just to say that now you enter it. You can do cin dot get line. So why you are doing get line? Because you are entering a full line of number. So you can do customer, and then the size of this particular array, particular line. The line is how many words long. So now what we can do, if we have not written the test num yet, but we can still say if test num customer size, means if it is rightly formatted, you can say that valid customer number. I'm just writing CUST number. Else we can say invalid customer number. It's just very simple. Invalid customer number. So this example is supposed to show you some use case of these characters in C++, a very basic use case. Okay, so invalid means it's not formatted correctly. So now we can start writing our function. So to that effect, we can just write like that. I mean, we can define a Boolean function, or we don't need to do that. We can do return true, let us say. I mean, first of all, that is our skeleton, that is our shell of this function. Now we can write our logic. So what we can do, of course, I mean, there is an array. So we want to iterate through the array, right? So in order to iterate through the array, what we want to do is we know that our first 3 numbers should be letters and last 3 numbers should be characters. Okay, it's like that. First three numbers will be letters, last 3 numbers, or last 3 characters will be digits or numbers. So to that effect, let's do that. We can define a variable called count. So it will keep track of the numbers of the strings that we are iterating. So from 0 to 3, 0 to 2, so you have here 0, 1, 2, right? Those will be the letters, and then 3, 4, 5 will be the numbers. So we can start a for loop, and we can say count equals 0 to count equals 3. So if you do that, then you get this one. Okay, so what you do is count equals 0, count less than 3, and count plus plus. That is the standard way of writing for loop. And then you do is alpha, and then you do the customer number. And if it is not a an alphabet, because first three letters should be the first three characters should be the alphabet. So if not, then it is false. Then comes the last. So it returns false. This means it will not go to the next step itself. So whenever it returns something from a function, the function is stopped. I mean, there is no more execution of the function. It returns the value. So next step, we can do another for loop starting from number 3 to number 5. So basically your size, the size of the number minus 1. So we can do like this. So you have this, and then it has to be digit, right? So then it is false. I mean, if it is not a digit, the remaining characters are not digit, then you return false. So I think that's all about it. If everything is good, like if you don't see any situation like first three letters are not not alphabetic, last three letters are not digit, if you don't see any such situation, then you return true, and you have a valid customer number. So let's try with some example. So let's do it. So we have character test 2. So let's enter some customer number. Let's put some good number first. So let's say ABC 123. So it says invalid. Why does it say invalid? Let's see. So ABC should be what? ABC should be the first three should be the letters, right? And the last three should be the number. So why it is returning the invalid? Should not. So as per our code, what does it do? So you have you have to do the count. So you start with count equals 3. So you do customer number count. So 3. So what is happening here? ABC 1 2 3. So ABC 1 2 3 must be like, let's do that. Oh yeah, that's because you have 8. Your customer length of the customer number is 8, but you are probably writing the 6. So let's try with a different number. So let's say we write ABC. So let's say 1 2 3 4 5. So it's a valid. So it has to be like this here. N. So it should be N. Let's write it very clearly so that it is self-explanatory. So now if you do, because if you don't do that, then they will consider the missing characters as spaces or null. I mean, so they violate that situation. So let's see, we have another situation, not a good case. 1 2 3 A B C D E F. So it's an invalid, and if you can do a combination of that, A B C D 1 2 3 4. So this is also invalid, and so on. You can try whatever you want. So that's another example that we could use with the string class. Okay. Uh, so that's about it. So, and also you could do two upper or two lower. Then maybe you are required to, once you are doing this, once you are done with this, maybe you are required to make them to lowercase. So you can say that there may be another requirement that put it to the lowercase. So maybe in that case, what you should do is basically you are basically doing what, you are iterating over the numbers. So typically what you could do here, you can write a for loop. So you can do for um, like int I equals 0, I less than size, I plus plus, and then you can choose to do C out, and then you can say to upper, to lower, let us say, and then you can do your variable, that is customer number, and then you can say I. So you are making it to lowercase. Okay. So what is happening? Cust number. So is it not right? Oh, customer. It has to be customer in this case because it's in the main program itself. So maybe we are writing in this way, or we start writing in this way, and then at the end we are ending it with an end line statement, so that you see the continuous stream of characters on your keyboard, I mean on your terminal. So you do that. I mean, you compile it first, then you run it. So maybe you write ABC 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can see here it's little different because so you have two lower and then customer. It's printing something else. So maybe it is messing up with the numbers with the numbers. That's why you get this typical thing. So what you should be doing here, I mean, you should be following some example of doing it to upper or to lower. Like uh, let's not let's not do this in this way because you are writing this. We can write an invalid number and then we can do it, of course. So if you do that and then you can do a. So if you do that, but still something is wrong here. I don't know what is going on. So you have integer I equals 0, I size, and then that's fine. Customer. So what is happening here? So maybe we are missing some characters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Still we have 9797. I don't know what does it mean, this 97 stuff. So let's see. So, or I mean, in order to simplify this situation, let's not run into this for loop thing. I mean, just test it. We'll see why it is happening like that. But before that, we can do, let's say, we can define some character here. Character, let's say, ch1 equals h, or yeah, h, and then we can do cout to lower, okay, to lower, and then we can do ch1. Let's see what happens now. So if you do that and then you run it, so I mean, customer number is immaterial, but I still do see that there is 104, some numeric is being presented. So if I do 2 upper, do I see the same thing? Yeah, I do see the same thing. So basically it is not printing the real thing, rather it is printing some, maybe I should do character ch2 equals 2 lower than ch1, the character, and then if I do ch2, maybe that will be the right thing to do. Or let's see, let's give it a final try. So yeah, that's the case. So basically you are supposed to you are not supposed to do it inline when you do the C out. So going to the same direction, you could do it like, if I go to the previous for loop, yeah, this one. So what you could do here, you could define character ch temp, temporary character, and you can do 2 lower, and then you can do customer I, and that way actually you could now you can print ch temp, so that should help you, I believe. So if I clear it now, and then if I just compile it, and then if I run it, then you can say AAA BBB CC. I mean, it's an invalid number, but you will see that the lowercase is converted. So the lesson learned is that don't try to use this 2 lower inline to your C out. Just use the character. I mean, assign it to a character and then use that character to your C out. So that's the lesson learned. Okay. So let's move on. So you could, this is the character case conversion, and then next part is the string. So, the string in C++ is nothing but a sequence of character. That's what we started with. That's what, I mean, we mentioned to begin with. So let's see. Yeah. So it's a sequence of character, and where it is stored in a consecutive memory locations. So it is terminated by null character. So actually, if you write hi there in this way, like you see on the slide, if you write it like that, then in the memory space, it is actually written like this. I mean, you have hi. I mean, last time we discussed about the memory. It's a segmented virtual memory, and you put each character in a memory, 1 byte, and then you have this one, and then it is terminated by a null character. So that is how you are using the string, C type of string. Now the string literal, it's a sequence of characters. String literal means, I mean, you have the string actually, that is the string literal. Literal, it's a data type. So it is a sequence of characters enclosed in double quotes. So that's how you define a string in C++. You don't use, for character you use a single quote, whereas for string you use a double quote. If you write this one hi there within the single quote, there will be error. Compiler will throw error. So it cannot compile. So you must use the literal, string literal, which is the double quote. So array of characters can be used. I mean, you can use an array of character to define the storage for the string, and you should leave room for null at the end. You can enter a value using cin or this one. Input is basically whenever you are doing some C type of stuff, I mean string, C type of string, the input is a white space terminated and no check to see if enough space is there. You cannot do it, so you have to be accurate, otherwise you will get problem. So for input containing white space and to control amount of input, you should be using the get line. You should not be using this one, because in that case if you use this one, then the problem is your input is white space terminated and you cannot check to see if enough space is there. So if you write get line, rather it will capture all the inputs from the console into your program. So it is the convention, rather it is a rule to use cin.getLine instead of this I mean this symbol for uh, inputting something for a character stream of character or a string. So typically, I mean, you could do like this one. I mean, we already wrote the program, so I do not want to repeat it, but typically if you have a whole array of character, then use cin.getLine. Don't use, I mean, this operator. Never ever use this operator. So um, so that's about it. And then we can talk about the library functions for working with the strings. So the library functions for working with the C strings, you require the C string header file. There are, what is the library function? So basically, whenever you have a string, in all programming language, doesn't matter what you write. I mean, you can use C++, you can use Java, whatever you write your program with. Uh, there is there are libraries, and then each library comes with certain utility functions. I mean, the role of those utility functions is to make your life little easier. You don't have to do everything. Like if you want to do uppercase, lowercase, for example, I mean, if there is no library function, then you have to write a code for that. So you don't want to do that. So that's why the library function comes with some benefits. So but to achieve that benefit, accomplish that benefit, you need to use the C string header file. So I mean, there are multiple library functions available. So you can do, the first one is the string length function, strlen. It's pretty much the length of the string, whatever length you have. So for example, if you have this program, this one, and then you wrote the input. So if you write here that your input is, and then you write the input like so you are representing the, so basically you have to write it in a for loop. But in any case, what you could do here, you can always find out the string length. So you can do cout length of your input is, and then you can do str. Now you have to include that particular function, particular library, that is your C string. So then you can do your input, the length of your input is strlen, and then you can do the customer, that is your array. So you should be able to see the length that you passed. So just save it and then compile it and then run it. So if you run it now, you can do, let us say, ABC 1 2 3 4 5. So your length of your input is 7. So that is your length of the input, and it's a valid customer number. So that's how it is being done. So that is your that's how you can do the string length function. So that is our string length function. I mean, like you could do separate stuff as well. Like we can write a new function, new new program. Let's say str underscore test dot cpp, and then we can use like something like the previous code, which is the header. We just want to steal the header from the previous code. So if I go there and put there this one, and then we do int main return 0. I mean, that's our skeleton of the program. And then we don't need CC type here. If we do like character, and then we can do name, let us say, equals Thomas DOE, okay, John DOE, Thomas DOE, whatever it is. So then you can do int length, and then equals name. Sorry, you can do strlen, and then you can pass the name here. And that way you can just if you execute the file, if you compile the file first, so you have str test str underscore test, and then executable file can be similarly named. So if you do that and then you execute the file, what happened here? Oh, you have to write something, cout len. So that's about it. So you have to print something after all. Otherwise, how do you know what is right, what is wrong? So you can see 10 characters long. So basically it's 10 characters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that is consistent with whatever you put. So that's how you can use the strlen string length function. Okay, so that's another utility. So you could do similarly. I'm not going to write program for each of them, but you can do it by yourself because it's in the slides as well as it's in the book. So strcpy is a copy of the string, so it copies string 1 to string 2. Now so if you do that like this one, you have in this case it copies string 2 to string 1, basically this way. It is defined in that way. So here in this particular example, you see you defined f name here, and then you define a character of length size here. I mean, this type of notation is little bit confusing. I mean, it is legal but confusing. You should write one specification, one declaration in one line. Otherwise, this will look little, I mean, it's not reader friendly. But in any case, I mean, it's in the book, it's in the example. You can use it, but you can as an add-on to your own style, or maybe a style that can be adopted across different organizations, is that don't define your data type, your data with the comma, I mean with the comma symbol. Just do a semicolon and go to the next line, do another character and do it in this way. So in any case, in what is happening here, you have a variable called name. So you have a variable called f name. This is copied into name. So in this case, name and f name are two different variables. So in this way, you are creating two different copies of the same string or character sequence of characters. So I mean that is pretty much it is string copy. Now strcat, there is another function, and strcpy perform no bounds checking to determine if there is enough space in receiving character array to hold the string it is being assigned. So in other word, let's say you have this one. But then if your size for name, by any chance you declare the size to be 5, let us say, so I mean it will just contain 5. You can see what it contains. Like what I'm saying is here is this one. This can be a good quiz question, you know. So you have, let us say, character um, test. Okay, test. Let's say test equals test. So 4 character long. Okay. Now what if character test 2 character long? Um, we don't initialize it, but then rather we do strcpy. Okay. Um, test 2 test. Okay. So by definition, test should be copied into test 2. Let's see what it copies. So we can do like for loop for int I equals 0, I less than like let's say test strlen test, so that the full length of test I plus plus. So then we can do like cout. Okay. uh, test 2 I. Let's see what happens. So if you have a program like that, I mean, let's compile it, and if you run it, then you can see that it writes T and E. So basically strcpy, what let's do it in a, let's display it in a more graceful way. Cout, at the end we can do the end line. It's nothing, it's some decoration to the program. So let me recompile it, let me rerun it, and you can see that you have 4 character long string, but you have defined the size of test2 to be 2. So in this case, first 2 characters are only copied. So there is no error. I mean, that's a good thing. There won't be any error. But the problem is the full string is not copied. So you have to be very careful about it when you use this type of function. So you can use a C string inside a C string. That's a very interesting function, string. It finds the first occurrence of string 2 in string 1. So basically, you may have some function, you may have some string whose substring, who has some repeated substring, let us say. So in this case, ABA, for example, repeated or not repeated as well, but you can see here ABA. Now your word has ABA. So basically, this is your word that you want to find. So you do string. You have the state word. So you can say that why it is state? It should be river, and then it is word. So then it will display basically uh, ABASH. So what does it mean? I mean, why it is SH? Oh yeah. So basically what it does, ABASH. So you it finds the first occurrence of string 2 in string 1, returns a pointer to match or null if there is no match. So um, let's write the code to make sure what it is doing. Otherwise, it is a little bit confusing to us. So if we have something like this, let's say um, character test T1. Okay, so let's follow this notation, follow the way they wrote it. So let's do character T2 and then wabash, um, and then let's write it that way. T2 equals So, and this one, and then character T1, T3, let us say, we can say it ABA, and then we can do STR. So we can do T1, T2. Sorry, T3 should be T3. So you can do character test 3 equals this one. So let's see what it does. So it is not doing that. So it is not returning any character, first of all. So you do that. And then if you write cout, let's write a for loop. Int I equals 0, I less than 6, let us say, I plus plus, and then we do cout ti, sorry, yep, ti, t1i, it should be. So it will print the original characters first, so end line, and then another for loop should be cout. Let's do another for loop and do T3. Sorry, what did I do? T3 here. So if you do that, and then if you try to run it, so let's see what happens now. So you can see AWA, ABA, you are writing. So basically what it does, so first of all, your input string was this one, wabash. So you have to do a end line here somehow. Otherwise, it is inconsistent. So this one, okay. Now we have this string, first one, second one. Now, second one is basically what you are doing here, str. So what it does, it basically strips out I mean, it brings this ABA word from here. If there is a match, if it brings it, put it in the front, and then just put WA next. I mean, it starts with here and put this one ahead of this one and put WA at the end. So that's pretty much it is doing. So it's a manipulating, manipulating function, but really I don't know what are kind of usefulness of this function. So you can do the string to numeric conversions, doing something like that. So for that you need a header file which is called cstdlib. Now cstdlib does it in this way. I mean, if you have a to I, this one converts a string to an integer value. So I mean, if it is a string like 1 2 3, then it converts it to integer value and makes it 1 2 3 the integer. Or you can do a to l, that is convert a string to a long value. You can do a to f, it converts a string to a double value. And I to a, it is basically converts the first integer parameter to the C string. So in this case, you see here parameter is little different. I mean, it converts the first integer parameter to a C string, stored it in second parameter, and third parameter base of the converted value. So the base, I mean, you have to define the base of the converted value here. So examples here, for example, if you have a number, if you have 1 2 3 4, this is a string, right? Then if you do a to I on that, you will get 1, 2, 3, 4. The good thing is that this will be an integer, not a string anymore. Now this one 5, 6, 7, 8, this will be a long, not an integer, neither an integer, nor a string. If you have 35.7, it will make it a float or floating point or double precision function. So that's the utility. Now there are something to remember, like, I mean, if the string contains certain non-digits, results are undefined. So basically it's obvious. If you write here A to I, if you write hello world is not a number, right? So then you will have some undefined result, and it will be little bit confusing. It will create a lot of confusion. So you have to avoid that. So I mean, you have to know about it. So the results are undefined. Function may return result up to non-digit. Function may return 0. It doesn't, I mean, it depending on C++ compiler. So as an example, you can try it yourself to see what it is doing for you. Okay. So, and also I2A does no bound checking. So basically you have to make sure it's up to the user to make sure that there is enough space to store the result. So I mean, this bound checking, there is no bound checking means there is no bound checking within the C++ library. But as a user, as a programmer, it is your responsibility to do that. So this will be a contract. Like whenever you write the program, you write a function, the basic principle of software engineering is that you have to do input validation. So uh, I mean, you can define this rule, like who is going to validate. I mean, pre-validation or post-validation means, pre-validation means you are using a function, so you have some input, so you have to validate the function. Post-validation means somebody else is passing some value to your function, then it is their responsibility to pass the correct value. But I mean, in the world of software engineering, the post validation is little discouraged because don't know, you cannot predict what an individual developer can do when they write a function. And it is very hard for us to understand, right? We are writing a function, we are creating a value within the program, but in 5 months down the road, people can introduce new functions. So it is hard for us to know, predict that there will be a function and then I have to be compatible with the function. So that's why it is almost the programmer's responsibility, who is writing the function, to do the input validation. So I mean, you can have a lot of examples here. I mean, a lot of example from the API, string to number conversion API. All you have to remember here is you have to use cstdlib. That is the critical part of this particular conversion. So you have to include cstdlib. This is the library header. So you have to do include hash include here. So this is your base requirement to use any of these functions. If you don't use this library, you will see a lot of errors whatever you do, and sometimes we become frustrated. But the first thing you should check is whether you are including a typical header or you are not including that. If you don't include that, then these functions, these particular utility functions, they won't work at all. Okay. So I mean, you will see that there are a lot of interesting functions out here. I recommend that I mean, during your study, just go over the slides and test it yourself. I mean, it's like 3 lines of coding, nothing there. Just test it yourself. Otherwise I mean, otherwise if you read it, you will forget. But test it, go through some real example, then you will learn. Now, there is also a toString function. This is also sometimes people use. So toString function is more popular compared to this type of function. This one, the toString function, basically what it does, it's a blunt function. Basically, it it whatever value it takes, it simply converts it to the string. So there is no here, for example, you are doing like uh, you have a string argument and returns the integer, or here I to a. So I to a you are doing here, it is you are getting a string, convert to integer, long, float. Now this is, and here you have a string and then you convert to integer. But here you get anything like any integer, long, maybe the long. I mean, there are different type of variables in C++. You have unsigned, you have unsigned long, whatever value you get, you are converting everything to string. Okay, so that is the power of toString function. Again, you are referring to cstdlib header to utilize this. So that's pretty much it is. And then how can you possibly write your own C string handling function? I mean, you can sometimes, whatever facility you get from the framework, sometimes you may you may have to write by yourself. So what are those examples? So before doing that, let's give a quick 5 minutes break, and then we come back and complete the remaining part. Okay. Welcome back. So our timer got stuck, so I had to divide it in two and a half each. So okay, so we are talking about writing our own C string handling functions. So sometimes we need to do that. So for that, actually, you have, let us say, you have string copy. So let me share that function and share that program so that we understand what is going on. Let me do that real quick. Not this one, but just a second. So let me open a new program here. Um, C string user. So that means a user is writing something. Something is wrong. Okay. So if I copy, and I'm just copying and pasting this one. So let me expand it a little bit so that we understand what is going on here. So this is a program that uses a function to copy a C string into an array. So this is something you don't have any ready-made function for that, but you have to use your own user-defined function. So let's say this is your function, string to copy. You come up with that. So you have a character, another character. So you have to copy. So what you are doing here is your first one. This is the second one. So you are user input, and second one is for the copy. So what you do here, initially you just enter a string with no more than whatever length is that, this one, characters, and then you do the cin stuff here, and you do the string copy. I mean, string copy is the function that you came um, forward with. So what is that? It's a very simple function. So what you do here, you first do a counter of the loop, that is index equals 0. You could have done this like count equals 0. Uh, Now what you do here, you are writing a while loop. You do, if the string is not equal to this one. Do you know why we put this one? That's because, as we defined before, whenever we have a C string, an array of character, the last character is null. It's terminated with null, and this character basically. So that's why whenever we encounter this one, that means end of the string. So that triggers that your string has ended. So basically, until we reach that, while it is not equals this one, we do string 2. I mean, that is your um, I mean, basically you have input string 1 and string 2. You are copying, you are assigning string 2 index to string 1 index. So this is your something you are copying to, and this is you are copying from. From is not going to change, to is going to change, and then you do index plus plus, and then you place the null character in the string at the end. Why your while loop ends, and you put a null string character, and that way you create a copy of the string. Your string is fully copied. So that is how you do it, and then you do first and second, and then you print the second one here. So that's how, I mean, it's very simple, but it's an user defined function that you used, you came up with in order to copy a string. I mean, copy one string character array into another character array. Okay, so that's a very simple example. Now, you have multiple other examples as well. I'm not going through those details, but let's go to the C++ string class. So now we have a more important class, which is called string. And in order to use that, you pretty much use include string. Okay, so what it does, it defines the string variables in programs. Say you are writing string first name, last name. So it is no longer an array of characters. It is a string. It's a standard C++ string. It's no longer a C type of definition of the string. It is more like C++. So the string class is an abstract data type. If you think about the data type, it's an abstract data type. This means that it is not a built-in primitive data type like integer or character. It's a different type of data. Okay, so what is going on here? This data type is defined inside a header function string. So for integer, for example, you don't need any header function. It's a built-in primitive data type. But when you have a string like that, you have a more concrete, more abstract data type. So it is a programmer defined data type that accompanies the C++ language. So whoever created C++ language, they wrote it. It provides many capabilities that makes string and working with string very easy, and it's simple. Make your life simpler. Now, the first step of using this string class, this is a class basically. This is a class. We have not talked about class yet, but to give you a very brief introduction, you have different objects, right? In the world, world is full of objects. Bank account is an object. Your animal, you can use an object. Everything is an object. So an object usually has some properties and some attributes. Like if you think about animal can have like skin. Let's say animal have two properties. Not, two attributes. Let's say the hands. Hand, number of hands, number of legs, and it can have two properties: eat and make sound. So that is the animal. Now, in order to express animal in the programmatic way, class is a template that you use with programming language to define that object. We will talk a lot of things about the class during our course. That is the main focus of our course. But this is a very, very preliminary and very, very fast introduction to you. It will help you to put the context, put everything in a proper context. You are knowing the concept of class, a very rough concept of the class in the at this stage itself. So basically string is a class. The string, this class you can use by calling that include header file. So now once you do that, once you do the string, once you call this file, you are ready to define the string object. So your string object is first name and also the last name. So the way you define an object is that you write the class name. Class name is like a data type, and then you define your object. Okay, so that's pretty much your string. That's your string object. Now, defining a string object is similar to defining a variable of primitive type. It is done in the same way, but it is an object. Why it is an object? Because it's not a primitive data type, basic data type within the language. Rather, it's a class. It's defined by a class. It's a kind of more complex kind of object. So what you do here, you can define an object, then you can assign value. You can assign value to the object. So first name, you can assign it to the string, to a value which is a string literal. George is a value which is enclosed by string literal, so that makes it a string, and so on. It can be displayed via cout as well. You can just write a cout function, cout, and then you can write it in this way. Okay, so that's your string basically. So I mean, a quick example. Let's try to move over, go through that example. So let's write another file. We can do string dash example dot cpp. Okay, so here what we can do, I'm just copying up something. So let's say we have a very simple program, extremely simple program. So this one. So you have like your IO stream, because you are using C in, C out kind of things, and you are using the string. This is required for using the string class. Okay. So you are defining string. So within the main function, you are defining string. This is your class, and this is the object. Movie title is the object. Now here, line number 10, you are making an assignment of a string literal to a movie title. We write it Wheels of Fury. Now you are outing this one. So you write out and then movie title. And as a result of this, you should be able to run this program. Let's see. So if you do G++ and then -o, you do string str.exe, let us say string. So we can do string example.cpp str.exe. So you can see that you can just see out this one. So this is the one. Okay, this is the simple primitive, very simple example of of the C++ string. So you can also read a string using your cin. So it's like a simple regular primitive variable, but it's an object. So you can do like, I mean, there are multiple ways you can write the program, but this is another example. You can always, after the class, you can always copy and paste this program into your VS Code and try to run it to see how it works. So you can basically use the getLine function to put a line of input. You can use the spaces inside into a string. So you define a string, I mean an object address which has a class and which has a data type of string. Then you enter it, and then what you do here, you do get line. That means you are seeking, you are asking your user to put something. So you are writing get line cin. I mean, that is the cin. So through the command line, you are asking your user to enter the address. User puts the address, and now if you do a cout address, you should be able to print this address. So getLine function, you can use it not only just for character, but also for string. You can use this one. Okay. So you can do a comparison. Now, comparison of string is very important. You can use relational operators like greater than, equals directly to compare string objects. So you do string 1 equals George and string 2 equals Georgia. If string 1 less than string 2, so basically you say it is less than whatever, the comparison is performed similar to strcmp function. It results in true or false. Okay, so you can, I mean, strcmp is a function. It gives you true or false result, but you can do it in this way as well. str1 less than str2, then I mean, you can write whatever it is. So I'm asking you to just test it and see what it returns. Then find some other examples, related examples, and see how it works. That way you will know more about string comparisons. So I mean here even you could do it in this way. So I'm not writing this code, but it is already given here. That's why I'm not writing it myself. So there are other definitions of strings. I mean, you can do string name. I mean, this way, this is the most easiest way to define string. Or you can do it in this way as well, string my name, and then put a parenthesis and do a double quote crease. It means you are defining a my name string, a string with the object name of my name, and the my name is equal to Chris. You know, you can do like your name, my name. So basically, it can take argument on the fly. You can do a name, my name 3. That means it defines a string and initializes it with the first 3 characters of my name. So your my name is your Chris. So this one will return basically CHR. You know, it's a literal. So you can do in this way as well. It means it is initialized with 2 characters from my name starting from position 3. So starting from position 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. So IS, the result should be IS, right? Verify this. Run your code on a Visual Studio Code window and verify this one. You can do this one as well. I mean, if you can define a string and initialize it to 5 A's. This is very interesting. You know, you write a, I mean, this is a character, not a string, and then you put 5 here, so it will create 5 A's, and that will be a string. This is a very nice example. Okay. Now you can use the auto. This is a very interesting function. I mean, you can use auto to define a string object. The following statement, I mean, this one does not define a string object. If you do like this, it cannot, I mean, it does not define a string object. But you know, this statement defines a string as either this one, constant character star, or constant character. These two are equivalent to a string, defining a string. Okay, so that's how you can do it. So if you do like, I mean, when use the auto keyword to define string object, append s suffix to the string literal. So what you do, auto str, put this one. So let's try to come up with an example. I mean, let's verify this one. This is very interesting. So let's create a file and do auto str.cpp. So let's do include and then input output stream, then include string, and then using namespace std. Okay, so int main, and then you do it that way and return 0. This is your skeleton. Now let's do the definition. You do string, let's say equals hello world. There is no problem in it. String, and you do s1. This is your string object equals hello world. But you could do auto, and then you can say s2 equals hello world. Is it correct? So basically, if you do this, and then if you do cout s2, let's see what happens. So if you do, if you compile it like auto str, so if you do this and then, so you have the hello world written, but then if you write s here, let's see what happens. What's the difference we want to find out. So, I mean, from visually, it does not make any difference, but internally, it might make some difference. So, um, what it says is that if you do that, this does not define a string object, but in our case, it does. I mean, it's a little bit different. Um, so this statement defines the string as this one, either this one or this one. So this is not a string. In this way, if you define the string using the auto, it is a character string. I mean, array of character. I mean, although this is same as string, but this is basically an array of character. But if you do it in this way, this will be a string. This statement defines str as a string object. So there is a difference in the data structure that is being highlighted here. So you can have the string operators, like you can have this one. It extracts characters from string up to white space, insert into the string, and there are other characters as well. You have the assignment operator, you have the appending string, you can do the concatenation. Plus is basically concatenation. If you do test1 plus test2, then test1 is a string, test2 is a string, then it will be a test1 test2. So that's a concatenation. It's simple. So, and if you put an array symbol, it references character in string using array notation. So remember always that if you do character array and if you do a string, they are basically same. But you know, if you want to use the data types, they are having different data types, but physically they look same. So that's pretty much these are your relational operators for the string. So you can do a I mean, work around on the operators as well. Here there are plenty of examples. I'm not writing this example myself. You can, I just spoke about this one. I mean, if you do this is a concatenation operator, this is pretty simple. And then you can do plus equals. I mean, this is also concatenation, so you can try it yourself. So string member functions, I mean, it is they are behind many overloaded operators. You know, overloaded operators means these operators are redefined inside your code. So the categories are like assignment operators. It could be assign, copy, data, I mean, modification, append, clear, erase. We'll see the example. So you can see the list of the functions like, where is that? There is a table actually, table 10.8. Did we put it there? No, we did not put it there, but it's in the book. The 10.8 is, it's in the book, and they have all the functions. So just take a look at the book, but you can use those functions, I mean, for a string. So example is here. So for example, you have string member function. So you have the word. So what do you mean by member function? You may wonder, what is really member function mean? So basically we are talking about a class, right? String is a class. Sorry, I lost my pen here. Let me bring the pen back. So string is an object. So you have a string object. So it is defined by a class. A class can have the attributes, the variables, and some member functions. So within a class, you can define like some variables A, B, whatever it is, of definite data type, and then you can do several functions. You can do it, it can be capable of doing several functions as well. So string is a class, so it has a lot of functions defined within the class. Those are called the member functions. So for example, assign is a member function. So the way you call a member function for a class is that you put a class name, object name, then you put a dot, then you call the member function. So you have words2 dot assign dog. So basically word, it is basically word2 equals dog, but it is, this is the way you can do it yourself, but within the function, within the class, there is an assignment uh, function. Now append is basically you add it at the end of the word, end of the phrase. You know, phrase is a string, then you at the end of the string you add the word one, you can add word two, and so on. I mean, these are the, and then you have the insert. So I mean, basically I would ask you to review these functions yourself. So if you go to the book and see the table 10.8, let me try to bring it up. Where is that? Table 10.8, that shows all the functions. So let me try to see where does that even exist. So you have it here. What does it say? It is there. So operators, so member functions. So see table 10-8 for a list of functions. So what is 10-8? I'm confused. But I mean, list of string functions, you can find it from many places. Let me try to explore it. String member functions, C++, of course. You can do a lot of examples. So there is a c++.com website. So let me try to bring it up. It's slow. I don't know why it is not. I'm not able to drag and drop things there. Having a hard time to use it. Probably some JavaScript is working and it messes up the string a little bit. So yeah, now it is there. So let's, yeah. So you have a lot of functions, a lot of string functions. So you can see member functions of the strings here, string here. So the good thing about c++.com is that you have a lot of examples there as well. So let's say that's bad. You have append function. So you append to string, it works in this way, and you can see some examples out here. So I mean, in principle, you can try your examples from c++.com, but basically, I mean, those are the member functions of the string. So I think that's what we wanted to discuss today. Any question? I mean, during when we have the conversation, you are always welcome to ask the questions. So no question is bad question at all. But this is one of the easier chapters, you know, from the discussion, you can feel it in that way. But that's why I'm asking you to just go around and do the practice. I mean, like in your book, you have a lot of examples, and in addition, you have a lot of exercises. Just go there and do the practices. Even if they are simple, the practices always pay off. So just go there and do the practice, and then I think if you don't have any question, I will see you in the next week. But then you have the assignments, the labs due. I mean, I did not put any due date, but if you complete the lab before next class, that will be easier. Because from the next class, I think, let's see what's on the next class. We'll see from the syllabus later on. But I mean, those are some important things that you might um, want to see ahead of every day, ahead of each class. You can see what is for the next class, and we can go from there. So that's about it. That's all we wanted to cover today. So if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I will see you all next week. Okay. So then see you all in the next week. Bye.